Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my best books of 2022. So if you saw my previous video, that one was my worst books of 2022, and now I'm excited to gush about my favorite books that I read last year, and this will be a list of my best books of 2022. I did 7 books for the other video, so I'm also going to be consistent and do 7 books for this video as well. But yeah, let's just jump into it and let me know your thoughts on which one of these you have read, if you've read any of them, because I'm always excited to hear other people's thoughts about the same books that I've loved, that they loved as well. So yeah. Okay, so the first one is The Electric Kingdom. This is a book that I had an arc of, and so I read it because it had a really cool dystopian premise, and I was pulled in immediately. So essentially, this one is about survivors in a world where the world is kind of like ravaged by like an insect swarm that like when these insects come down, I think they're actually flies, if I'm remembering correctly. It's swarms of flies, and when they come down, they literally like ravage everything. So if you're a human, like you're gonna become bones. And so it's like a deadly fly swarm that is like destroying everything in its wake. And it's the story of different people that were involved in this and how they're kind of like surviving post fly apocalypse. So yeah, it's really cool. There are so many different elements that come into play in this book, and I was just so excited that there was one element that came into play that I am a really big fan of in books. So when it happened, I was pumped, and that immediately kind of like brought it up to a 5-star. And then from there, the book just like continued to like go with a really good pace. I wouldn't say it was like action packed the whole time, but it was a consistent pace that kept me wanting more, and it would give you like little tidbits as it went. So it was a good time. And yeah, if you like dystopian books, I definitely think you will like this one. The next book I have on my list, and one that I'm sure you guys were tired of hearing me talk about for a while, because it was pretty consistent in a lot of videos, was The Haunting of Leigh Harker. I read this as a reading vlog for Once Upon a Book Club BookBox subscription service, and this was the book, so you get to like open gifts as you go through the book that kind of relate to the story. And this one was like a ghost story following a woman who is in her house being haunted. And so I just loved this book. It was so good. I didn't see the twist coming, and then it happened, and I was like, oh my goodness. And it happens fairly early on, and then you continue the story after this huge twist, and it's like, what is going on? But it was such a cool twist, and it really made me want to read more ghost stories. I found that it was really like captivating, and there is such an endearing friendship in this book that I was just it tore my heart. I just loved it so much. And then there was another part at the end of this book that was like, it got real creepy, which was awesome because I love those creepy vibes. So like, yeah, I still have not picked up another book by Leigh Harker, but I have gone onto their author website and looked up all their books multiple times, because when I find an author that I like their writing style and I like the way they reveal a story, like I want all of their books. So I definitely have investigated this author quite a bit. I did try and find them at the bookstore once, but I couldn't find any of their books. So if I do end up picking up more of their books, I'm going to have to go online and order them. But this one is definitely one that I think you should check out if you like creepy ghost stories. Next up is The Darkness Outside Us, and this was an arc that I had from, I believe it was HarperCollins, and I read this for the Phase and Gaze book club, and this was awesome. I didn't know really what to expect about this one, but I ended up really enjoying it. So this is a sci-fi young adult book about 2 boys from different nations that are put together on a spaceship to go on this rescue mission. And they don't really know much about their mission because they actually wake up on the ship with like no memory of actually leaving. And so from there, they kind of have to like piece together what they're doing on this mission, and they have an idea of what they think they're doing, but other things kind of get revealed as they go. And yeah, this one is definitely like a mind boggle, if you will, and it's pretty fun. There's a lot of like close quarters trope and like a little bit of angst here and there, so that was something that I enjoyed. And yeah, this one is also obviously LGBTQ plus, so that's something to look forward to. And it's set in space, and yeah, there's not much more I can really say about it without giving anything away, but this one was definitely one that keeps you on your toes because there are things that happen that you're not expecting. So, yeah. The next one is also a sci-fi young adult series, and that is Aurora's End. So this is the third book in the Aurora cycle, I believe. I believe that's the name of the trilogy. But anyways, this is the third book, so I can't really say too much about it. All I can say is that it was phenomenal, and it went in a direction that I was like, yes, I love this so much. And I was hooked from page one right to the finish. I was loving this book. I powered through it so fast. And I thought it was actually a really good conclusion to the series. I know that sometimes series have a hard time with conclusions and having something that's going to make all the readers happy. I'm sure even this one won't make all the readers happy, but for me, I found this conclusion to be perfect. Like, I was so happy with how it played out. It pulled on my heartstrings. I was like, my heart was racing at some points. There was a lot of different things happening in this book, and I loved every second of it. So if you get a chance, definitely check out the Aurora Cycle series. Then I read All of Us Villains. This was another one that was one of my 5-star reads. It was very good. I actually have All of Our Demise over on the shelf over there. I've said I was going to read it many times, and I keep not getting to it, which I don't know why, because like this one was one of my best books of last year. So I feel like if that's any indication, I'm going to like it. But yeah, so this one is about a bunch of different families that are, they're not magical families, but they're kind of like competing to control magic. So these 7 families, they put a person from their family into like these death games every like century or whenever the time is up, and they have to compete for magic. And so if they win this game, then their family controls the magic until the next turn of the century or whenever it's the next turn. And yeah, so this is the story of the 7 competitors going into the arena, and you get to follow different perspectives. It's kind of hard because you're like, I don't know who to root for here. I know that all these people are going to die, so like, or most of these people are going to die, so like, what do I do here? And you get attached to different characters, and yeah, it's pretty intense. I'm looking forward to seeing how it concludes in the last book, and yeah, this one was just, it was really good. I actually got my coworker to read this book as well, and she powered through it, and I believe she already finished the sequel as well. So yeah, she liked it too. Then next up we have Clown in a Cornfield, Friendo Lives. And this is the sequel to Clown in a Cornfield. This is following the events that happened in that one, and it literally picks up like right away after the other one ended and follows these characters. So yeah, the first one was about a bunch of teenagers who go to like a barn party out in a cornfield, and then they start getting murdered by a clown. And so this book is following those events. I can't really say much more, but I will say that it was just as action-packed as the first one. And I mean, there was already the creepiness factor of it being clowns from the first one. So like, I love the creepiness factor that it's clowns, and it just reminds me of like a 80s slasher flick, which I love. I'm a big sucker for those kind of movies. So this book just read like that, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed feeling like I was in like an 80s movie while going through this book. So it was a lot of fun. And I believe this isn't the finale yet. I think there's another one coming after this that I saw the author talk about on Twitter. So I'm excited for more of clowns and cornfields. And then the last book on this list is The Shadow of the Gods. This is a fantasy book about, it's following 3 different characters, and you get like pretty extensive backstory on each character, which is awesome. And it's following them like going through this world. It's very like Viking style, I find. And it's following people who are kind of like, they used to worship like these gods that were like these giant beasts, and they had powers. And so now people are like, some of them are like offspring of these gods, so they have like a portion of the power that these gods had. And it's just following the 3 different characters like kind of living in this world. Lots of stuff gets revealed in this book, which is like set up for the next book, which is The Hunger of the Gods. I haven't read that book yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. This book also has my favorite mom character in like any book I've read. Orca is a beast. Like, she is such a powerful mom. And I guess a big part of the story is her kid gets taken, and it's like her tracking down the people that took her kid to get her kid back. And she will stop at nothing to get her child back. It was so intense. I really enjoyed this book, and I can't wait to pick up The Hunger of the Gods. Marcus already has it on the shelf, so like I really could read it at any time. And yeah, this was also my first book by John Gwynne, and I really like his writing style because I believe that his fight scenes were really cool, and they were very descriptive, but in a way that like didn't get in the way of the action. So it was cool. It was awesome. Yeah, definitely recommend this one if you like fantasy. And those are all the best books that I had for 2022. I'm really excited that I got to read those books last year because they were little bits and pieces of joy throughout the year, and it was awesome. Let me know if you've read any of these books in the comments down below, because I obviously want to hear your thoughts on them as well. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as a link to buy my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you're notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Until next time, keep on reading.